Hi everyone, welcome to a very special episode of Renaissance with Swati. Today we have a very special guest with us, the woman who's been asking us the questions, shaping stories, and championing voices is finally on the hot seat. Swati Jain, whom we all know as the host behind this soulful podcast, is about to share her story. So, welcome to your own Renaissance, Swati, and it's time to turn the mic around.
Thank you, Soumya. It was such a wonderful introduction, and I love to have you as a host and, on the other side of the table.
Pleasure to be. So, Swati, what inspired you to start Renaissance with Swati? And was there any particular moment or story that sparked this idea?
So, as a child, I always wanted to be on the stage, and I was participating in a news reading competition once. And my headmistress in the school told me that, Swati, when you grow up, you should become a journalist. At that time, I didn't realize, I didn't take it seriously. But somehow, I think that thing was always in me, talking to people, socializing, getting their stories out, and asking people to speak out, not stay silent. So, whether it was my school days or my college days, I was always asking people to talk to me and establish a connection. Not only talk, but talk by establishing a connection so that people feel free to say or speak out their stories in front of me and they feel relaxed. So, that is how this idea cropped up into my mind that why should I not start a podcast? Because every one of us have gone through some of the other challenges in life, and we all love reading books, and even if we don't read books, we keep on scrolling to the stories. What attracts most is the stories. So I thought, if I start a podcast and I unfold the untold stories, how will it feel? So that is how Renaissance started, that I wanted to unfold all the untold stories of people and look at life from a new lens altogether.
That's a very beautiful perspective, and I've had the chance to experience this with you. How comfortable you are in talking. It naturally comes out when we talk with you. So, you have that talent, and I actually agree with you.
Thank you.
So moving on, we all know that you are working in IT, you are a mother, and now you're doing this podcast. So it must be tough, to manage all these diverse roles. So how do you balance it all?
It is tough. It is tough, I will not lie. So, working in a full-time IT job obviously takes every bit of your weekday time. You have your weekends with you on which you have to give full time to my two little daughters. I have to give my full time to my two little daughters. And sometimes I do think, when should I record? When should I do the podcast? But then I try to find some way out. When you want to do something that you're passionate about, will find time from anywhere. Yeah, so that is what I do, that every nitty-bitty time or anything that I feel that yes, this is a buffer, I can take time out of, I will take the time out of and I will do the podcasting. Yes, editing and rest of the stuff takes a lot of time, but then like I said, if you're passionate about something, you'll always do something about it.
True, that is completely true. Since I am also passionate about a few things apart from work, so I know how much, एक अंदर से ही चाह आती है, that thing. So I completely agree with you.
एग्जैक्टली, वो अंदर से आवाज आती है कि नहीं, मुझे आज करना है, मुझे करना है, मुझे कुछ तो करना है। तो बीच में मेरा ब्रेक हो गया था। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई वॉज नॉट एबल टू कीप अप विद द मोमेंटम एंड आई वॉज लाइक, अब मैं कैसे करूँ, आई एम फीलिंग लॉस्ट। आई वॉन्ट टू री स्टार्ट द मोमेंटम, रीगेन द मोमेंटम। बट वो होता है ना, साइंस में हमने पढ़ा था, inertia of rest and inertia of motion. So I think I got into the inertia of rest for some time, and to get back into the inertia of momentum was becoming very difficult. But then I pushed myself, and then it went on again.
That is absolutely right. And I think that is the beauty of, doing something from passion, that it's not something like work that it's mandatory. You have to do it at a fixed schedule. So I think that makes it very comfortable as well.
Of course, because you don't have that pressure on you yet that, if I don't come up to my job tomorrow, I will not get my monthly, I'll get my leaves. So that mental burden is not on you. It's your passion. You're doing it. so
for
that your
yourself.
soul gets refreshed.
So, can you share a memorable moment or challenge you faced while producing an episode?
So initially, there were a lot of challenges, I would say. So luckily for me, initially my friends and my family helped me out. So when I started the podcast, I didn't know whom to reach out to. So I connected with all my friends and family, and one by one, they just started agreeing to come on my podcast, and I'm really grateful for them that they came out to as a guest on my podcast. I even have the pleasure of talking to Soumya, and it was wonderful. So slowly and gradually it started, and then I reached out to people randomly on LinkedIn. And to my great surprise, there are people who do not say no. They agree to come to your podcast, even though they have, so many followers on LinkedIn, but they agree to come onto your podcast and share the beautiful memories. I feel the greater you are in that success ladder, the more humble you are. And I have observed in my podcasting journey for the last 1 year. Yeah.
That is wonderful. The support from friends and family is actually very essential when you're doing something on your own and you're starting out. Just
Yeah.
like in small businesses, you need some support from the family and friends. Exactly, same support is needed in anything we do in life.
Definitely. And I also remember that I have talked to students, I've talked to teachers, I've talked to entrepreneurs, I've talked to soldiers, I've talked to leadership coaches, innovators, people working in different sectors of life. And it was my privilege when I asked them that, would you like to be a guest on my podcast? And when they said yes, my happiness had no bounds. Yeah.
So, any dream guest you would like to have on your show?
Dream guest. Good question. So, as such, what I dream of is that I own a good studio of my own, and I would like to invite my family, my parents, because what I am today is because of my parents. As a child, I was very, very shy when I was born. I used to go to the school, I could not speak up. I always used to tell my partner in my class that, please raise your hand and ask this question for me.
I can't imagine a shy Swati, to be honest.
I was. It was actually true when I was very, very small. Then all of a sudden, I got a classmate, and she was very extrovert. And seeing her always on the stage motivated me. Intrinsically, I got this. So from a shy person to this extrovert person, I automatically became that. And my parents had a huge role, obviously. My father has always been on the stage, hosting multiple events, singing on the stage. He's always been there on the stage. And my mom, I see her today, she's also there organizing different events for their community, their social community. And it feels great. And I feel that my dream guest would be to invite my parents on my podcast.
That is such a lovely thought. And I resonated a lot with that, the environment that your parents create. That is really essential for a child's development. You see your parents, and they are the only people we see and learn in the early stages. That is really good thought.
Yeah. So that is what I feel as my dream guests. Apart from that, of course, everyone dreams of becoming famous one day. And yes, I want to talk to all the people whom I can and just bring out the different perspectives about life.
Lovely. Amen to that.
Yeah,
And
thank
over the past year, how has hosting this podcast influenced your
you.
personal and professional life? What changes has it brought, or maybe positive or negative? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, interesting question. So, podcasting over the last 1 year, if I retrospect, तो मैंने खुद में बहुत चेंजेस देखे हैं. So when I started podcasting, मेरा पहला podcast और मेरा आज का जो podcast है, उसमें you will find दिन रात का difference. So obviously I was not confident speaking. There always used to be goosebumps. तो आज के दिन में वो goosebumps नहीं है. So that is a difference. So I remember I was taking a podcast of a senior leader in a company, and I was facing these goosebumps that, although only have to ask questions, but I was feeling hesitant. I was like, maintaining that eye connect, establishing the connection. you have to be there in that zone, and you have to make the other person also feel comfortable when you are the host. And all that initially used to give me jitters. Now I'm used to it. So it makes me and the other person more relaxing. I have an example where someone told me that, I was very introvert, and it is the first time I'm giving a podcast. And you made me feel so comfortable that I did not feel that this is a podcast. It's like a normal conversation we're having between two people. So that was such a wonderful feedback that I got from one of the guests.
I totally agree. Even when I am on the host side of this podcast, I can feel that what you would have been feeling at that time. So
Yeah.
that is, and you have that aura. In fact, in the family also, everyone knows if you want to talk about something, Swati would be the best person to talk about it because how comfortable you make people feel, that is truly exceptional.
That's my absolute pleasure. Another thing which I'll say how it changed me in the last 1 year is that, IT, you are limited in that limited set of people where you're talking to every day. You connect with your teams, you connect with your immediate supervisors or your leadership. But apart from that, you're not networking out to any other people. And for me, taking care of the office responsibilities as well as taking care of my kids, I was somewhere feeling that, I'm not able to connect with more people, and I was always a social person. So, when I was in my college and I was having my farewell, my juniors gave me the title of social network on the ramp. That meant that wherever I used to go, I used to talk to people, I used to connect, I used to make friends, and I used to walk like, I'm walking on the ramp and I'm just talking to people. So that somewhere got lost when I joined the IT industry.
Right, because of work from home, right?
Yeah, because I work from home, because I have two little daughters, and I wanted to have a work-life balance, maintaining my work as well as my daughters. So I was feeling that I need to network out. Plus, as a student, I used to read a lot of books, fictions, non-fictions, and now with having a very, very busy life, I was not able to take time to read out big novels. So talking to people makes me feel that I'm reading so many books. I am just, unraveling all the mysteries, all the books, and it's so beautiful. Every person's story is different, unique, and very beautiful on its own. It's like reading multiple books.
Right. And anyone can do podcast, but engaging with the stories of the people you're inviting on the podcast and, being relevant about it, taking it positively as well, that is very important. And I think I can see that in your episodes, how beautifully you're able to engage with people. So I think that is the plus point about the podcast.
Yeah, and I would like to mention one more thing. When we are doing anything on the social media or even podcasting, right, we always chase followers. And initially, I also used to think that, I should get X number of followers, only then I would be successful. But slowly and gradually, I got to know it's not the number of followers be chasing. It's about your personal satisfaction and the satisfaction of the person coming onto your podcast. Because if you imagine yourself standing on a stage with 100 people in front of you. So, for example, if one of my YouTube videos get 100 likes, that means I'm standing in front of an audience in a theater full of 100 people, and that itself is a huge thing.
Right.
So, chasing the number of followers is something that now I have stopped, because otherwise it keeps you in that loop. No, I have to do something that I will increase my number of followers.
Right. See that a lot in the influencers nowadays, chasing behind the numbers, the followers. And it actually disturbs the mental health after a point because it becomes a goal, and when you're not able to achieve that goal, it distresses you.
Yeah. So, very interestingly, I was invited as a judge on a debate competition in a college in Delhi University. So, I always used to participate in debates when I was a student, but this was my first time judging a competition. So, being on the other side, it was my first time. So, and the topic that was chosen for the debate was the same,
Okay.
social influencing. So how it is influencing, creating a bad impression on the mindsets of the young children or not. And there were obviously people who are speaking on the pro and the cons. So what I feel from there, as well as my judgment, is that the people who are becoming influencers, they should also focus on the content. If your content is actually good, you can grow organic. That is
Right.
what I feel.
And if your audience is able to connect with you, then I think that's the best goal we have achieved.
Of course.
Okay, so moving on, what's that one thing about Swati Jain that people don't see on camera but should definitely know? And I think we have got one of the points that you were an introvert when you were a child. But apart
Yeah.
from that, what else do you think?
So, when you meet people, especially in our Indian society, we are told that, we have to be brave, we have to be strong. We do not have to show our emotions or our vulnerabilities to people. Otherwise, they will think that we are not strong, we are not
Right,
capable of handling situations. But it is eminent that, all of us do feel nervous or anxious at some points of time. We do feel that क्या हम सही कर रहे हैं? क्या हमें कुछ और करना चाहिए? We all have that crisis in our mind, which we are not
right,
allowed to show. Sometimes we are vulnerable, but still we have to show up. And we do not, sometimes we are not permitted to show out our vulnerability. You see, I told you, right? Initially, I used to get jitters or I was nervous or anxious when talking on a podcast, but then I could not show it कि मेरे को nervous feel हो रहा है, मेरे को anxious feel हो रहा है. उस टाइम मैं कैसे मैनेज करूँ? मैं दिखा नहीं सकती हूँ. Then I, used to deep breathe. मैंने अपने coping mechanisms बनाए. So that is something that people don't know, that behind a brave face, behind a smiling face, there's there are lots of things going on. So if a
right,
person is smiling on the camera, they say that, the comedians are the people who cry the most on the
right,
back end, right? So the people who are most outspoken are the ones who are most alone, is what I feel. So yes, behind this bold, strong girl or woman that you see on the screen right now, there's obviously a child within who always feels some nervousness, some anxiousness, but she has learned to handle that and,
right,
come out successful and be
so-
bold in front of others.
right. So like, don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know
Exactly.
what things are there in the book.
Yes, don't judge a book by the cover. Very true. I think you must have faced similar things in your
Yes,
life,
I
right?
think a couple of people perceive me as an extrovert, but I'm actually not an extrovert.
Oh,
So it's the opposite for me. I am an introvert, but people think I am an extrovert. And the same thing that the marks and everything, they create a bar in everyone's mind that the person is a topper and they'll be able to do in life. But that's actually not the case every time. You see failures also, but you can't show those failures every time to the people around you, right?
absolutely. But I think these failures are something that makes us grow because
Right,
I can resonate with you. I was a topper in school, but I could not get into the IITs or any of the prestigious, top colleges. And at that time, it used to feel like my world has fallen apart. But those challenges that we face, those obstacles, those failures make you grow and make your mind, make your perspectives also change. So, for
right,
example, like I say that, why I talk about the untold stories, because as I mentioned before, all of us have faced some of the other challenges in our life and we have grown through those challenges. I'm sure you must have gone through your challenges
right,
as well.
right. And sometimes, even if you're not able to reach the goal which you had set initially, there's something you are able to do in life. जब आप कॉलेज में थे, you must have thought that अभी आईआईटी नहीं मिला तो अब क्या होगा, but now you're doing well, right? So at the end it all works out. It's just at that time we have to stay positive, we have to stay calm, and we have to keep trust in ourselves. That is what I have
Exactly.
learned yet, that don't lose hope. There is, everything works out at the end.
Exactly. Go with the flow.
Right, go with the flow. I love this
Exactly.
statement, go with the flow.
और जब आगे का रास्ता नहीं दिख रहा है, when all the lights are closed, just go with the flow and make your inner light shine out.
Exactly.
Yeah, you will always find a way. That inner light will always show you the way. At that time, you just have to keep on moving. Don't stop.
Right. If one path is blocked, if one thing is not working out for you, I think there are another hundreds of paths open. We just have to find them.
Definitely, definitely. You just have to connect with yourself, close your eyes, ask yourself, मुझे क्या चाहिए अपनी जिंदगी से? मेरा पर्पस क्या है? And then you will truly find it out.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, Swati, what's the underrated quality we see in a great manager that we are missing today? What's that underrated quality?
The underrated quality in a manager that sometimes we see lacking is that you have to connect with your teams. You have to
Right,
talk to every person one on one, establish that connection, establish that mutual trust and admiration. In corporates, we know that there is no, we all are having different hierarchies, but we all call each other by names, right? We don't
right,
call sir or ma'am. So we have to establish that connection that if somebody in my team is facing XYZ challenge, he can come and freely speak up to me. If he's not feeling good about something, they should come up to me and clearly tell it to me. So that bond of mutual trust, mutual respect, and if you're happy, you're able to share your happiness. If you're sad, you're able to share your pain. If you're under pressure, you're able to share your pressure, that this is something that I want to release so that I can feel happy. That thing, that empathy with all the teammates, and not thinking that I'm the boss, I can do anything I want to, and you just have to follow my orders. That is not what a leader is all about. A leader is someone who can connect and work together with the team and bring out the best in everyone.
right. And since I am also working in IT, I feel this quality is actually missing in a lot of leaders. And many a times, freshers actually think that managers are the most unapproachable people in the company because they have that personality made that we can't approach them for small things or we can't share happiness with them, or the manager's work is to actually mentor us and bring out the best, as you said. But nowadays I actually feel that this quality is lacking in the managers.
Have you tried reaching out to any of the seniors or managers?
I did, but it feels like I am banging my head on a wall, to be honest.
Okay. Because when I was a fresher, when I joined IT as a fresher, all my friends were someone who were 7 or 8 years senior than me. So
Okay.
that is my core group of people. I used to connect with them from the initial 4 or 5 years of my IT life. I always used to bond with people senior to me. Somehow it intrinsically came that all my friends, all my leaders, they were approachable, and they are the people whom I still talk to after 15 years in IT. They are the people who I can still reach out to if I have any issues. So they showed me that and I think that is what I live on to, that you have to be approachable, you have to connect, and you have to bond, not as a
Right.
leader and a associate, but as equals.
As colleagues.
Yes, colleagues, yes.
Right. And I think that is what we learn, like what uh, qualities your managers had shown you in your early years of work. Those are the qualities which now you are applying when you are on that managerial position. That makes a difference as well.
Absolutely. So, see, in your career journey as well, you will face both good leaders and bad leaders. That is
Right.
the evil truth that, every company will have obviously good leaders and not so good leaders. I will not call bad, but good leaders and not so good leaders. But then you have to learn from the good leaders, take out their positives, and just inherit those or just imbibe those in your way of working.
Right.
In that ways, you will feel good.
And sometimes we have to nag them when we want something to be done, right?
Of
अपने
course, if
अपने हक के लिए तो लड़ना पड़ेगा.
अपने हक के लिए तो लड़ना पड़ेगा, एब्सोल्युटली ट्रू। और ये भी मुझे सिखाया था मेरे पेरेंट्स ने। पहले मैं अपने हक के लिए नहीं बोलती थी, आई वाज ऑलवेज लाइक मैं अपने फ्रेंड्स की बहुत हेल्प करती थी शुरू से। व्हेन आई वाज इन स्कूल सबका होमवर्क करवाना, सबके लिए करना, मैं सब करती थी। My parents told me कि अपने लिए तो कुछ करो. So when I joined the ID sector, मैं अपने लिए नहीं बोलती थी. I was like, my work shows it all. I don't have to prove anything to anyone, or I don't have to show anything to anyone. But gradually I realized that it is important to show, not show off, but show. Then it is important to showcase your work in such a way that थोड़े दिन बाद आपको वो दिखाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, आपको प्रूव करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. People will realize what you are doing, your work will show, but you have to ask for what you want. So you have to ask for what is your right. If you don't ask, then you will not get it. And that is not only in IT or in any corporate sector, I think that is everywhere. You have to ask for what you
Right,
want in life in
right.
general.
No one is going to help you unless you ask for the help.
Exactly.
You have beautifully put that show off versus show your work. I
Right.
like that line which you have put, it resonated a lot with me.
Yeah. So showing off means you're just, buttering. I don't believe in buttering, but I
Right,
believe in actually showcasing what I'm doing and having a deep connection with people so that, everyone knows what I am. My caliber should show itself. But at some point of time, you have to tell that, I am good. If people think you're not at that point, but you think, if you believe in yourself that you are good, then there is no harm in saying it out loud, right? I
right.
think हमें इंडिया में सिखाया नहीं जाता कि अपनी तारीफ करो, और कोई हमारी तारीफ भी करता है तो हम आंसर नहीं कर पाते हैं, हम शाय हो जाते हैं, राइट?
Right. I've seen that a lot. We get that awkward feeling. How to take the compliment?
Exactly. So at that point of time, take up the compliment, say thank you, and be confident कि yes, I'm doing something good. That is why the other person complimented me. So there's no harm in talking good about you.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, if younger Swati saw you today, what do you think she'd be proud of, or what do you think she'd roast you for?
So the younger Swati will definitely be proud of that. Um, I did something different. I started a podcast, and that teaches feedback that I should become a journalist when I grow up. That I'm doing some part of it. I'm not become a journalist, but I'm talking to people from various sectors of life and uncovering their stories. That is what a journalist do. That ways, I feel the younger Swati would be happy about me. And what she'd roast me about is that I think you should do more. Leave, don't be lazy, don't procrastinate, And I think she'd roast me about not going out enough. Be with the nature.
Lovely, lovely. I really liked how you are able to, connect with your younger self also and uh, एक होता है ना फीलिंग दैट जब मैं बड़ी हो जाऊंगी तो मैं ये करूंगी और फिर वो बड़े होने के बाद यू आर एबल टू टेल योर younger self that yes, I have made it or I am on the path of making it. That feeling is actually very nice.
But frankly speaking, when I was in school and college, I used to be very proud of myself. When I joined IT, after a few years, I was in a vulnerable position where used to think कि I'm not good enough. The younger Swati would not be proud of me. For example, like I said, जब मैंने वो top colleges crack नहीं करे, I was like, the younger Swati will say कि क्यों नहीं किए, right? You were a topper in school, you were an all-rounder. आपको कुछ तो अलग करना चाहिए था, but आपने नहीं किया. So I used to regret that. I used to feel, depressed about that as well. Younger Swati would not be happy about me. And then there was this man who told me that, uh, देखो सबके साथ होते हैं challenges, सबकी लाइफ में ups and downs आते हैं. Every person has to face ups and downs. Every person has failures in their life. Then how you grow out of their failures. So don't regret. I think the younger Swati would be very good to see you right now, what you're doing right now, how you overcame the challenges that you had. So just go back into that time of your life and hug the younger Swati and say, you're doing great. You'd be proud.
That is so good to hear. And this is actually a very good example of everything works out at the end. If not IIT, but then the life had better things written for you.
Exactly. So even today, when I feel that, things are not moving in the right direction, or I'm not on the right path, or I feel sad about something, or I regret something from the past, I just go out to the younger Swati and I just give her a big hug that, everything will be all right.
That's really sweet of you. That thought of talking to your younger self, that is very sweet.
Yeah.
And I've seen you have a very much interest in writing poems, and I have seen you writing content on LinkedIn as well. So, how did that start, or was it a recent hobby? Like, how did you come into writing?
That was not recent. So, when I was in my seventh or eighth, I used to participate in all these communication competitions, for example, debates or extemporaries or, speeches. At that time of time, there was no AI, there was no Google. So, we used to go to the library, search out the encyclopedias, read about different quotations, take out different quotations, create a speech, 2, 3 page speech, and then, edit that. I have to make it one pager that it should be a 2 minute speech. I have to go out and talk it out in front of the, all the audience, all the judges. So that is how it started. I started writing. Then gradually, one of my teachers again, she asked me to, be the editor of the school magazine. So my school magazine's name was Aryakriti, and I fondly remember that my mom asked me that, start writing articles for this book and just write your stories. So, for example, I went to Ooty from my school for a Rotary Interact Club event, and she asked me to just write out an article on that. We'll publish it in the school magazine. So that is how I started. And gradually I started writing poems. Initially I started with, how to rhyme words. Okay, if a sentence ends with cat, it should be bad. So I started writing poems like that. So that is what happened in the school. Gradually, after college, you get so busy in all the course of life
Coursework,
or
right?
everything, your office, your family, you get lost. So I was feeling lost. And again, there were some people who motivated me that we think that you express yourself better when you write it out. Sometimes you're not able to speak it out, but you're able to write it out. And they nudged me to write again. I said, it's been so long after school, I've not written anything. Then at least try once more. So I just started writing once more. Whatever came into my head, I started writing that. And then gradually I started writing poems on my life, on the things that I was facing during that time. For example, there was a poem I wrote, Take a Break. And now this poem was no more rhyming the words, and everything should be rhyming, but it was actually taking a break. So that was the first poem I wrote after a long gap. And then I started writing and writing again. So this take a break was, in fact, I was like, I'm so pissed off of my work. I want to take a break. Let's go to a resort. We went to a resort. In the resort, I was just sitting, looking at the garden. In 5 minutes, wrote this poem.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So, do you think that this skill of writing, or like impromptu writing, communication skills, and the writing skills which you are talking about, do you think those are missing in the now our generations, like the beta generation and the alpha generation? Do you think that is missing because of AI? Because if you have seen the mothers as well, everyone is doing the homework through AI nowadays. Do you think that skill would be missing in the children nowadays?
I don't think if AI is definitely there to help us, but what I feel we should not completely be reliant on AI. If you are, see, everyone is not born with good communication skills or good writing skills, but they are learnable skills. We can
Hmm.
all learn to become good writers or communicate good. So, my podcast with one of the storytelling coaches, he studied in a Hindi medium school and today he's a storytelling coach. So, it is a learnable skill.
Hmm.
So I believe AI is there to help us navigate through that zone when we are not able to write properly. At least write something, then ask AI that, to improvise it better if you're not able to improvise it better. then AI will definitely help you. So I would say take advantage of AI and use your mind as well. Just do not blindly write it on ChatGPT that I want this answer. First think of it, and then you can obviously structure it more better with the help of AI.
Right. And somewhere because of AI, I think the art of writing poems is vanishing because now everyone is able to give the prompt and the poems are there.
But see, obviously AI can give anything, right? But is that connection there? Obviously, I'm not against AI. It is trying to innovate, but it
Right,
cannot replace humans, right?
right.
So, for example, if you are talking to me right now, or if you are talking to just AI right now, whom will you connect with more?
Human, right,
Right. So that connection always comes out. So if you do anything from the core of your heart, those emotions are there, right? And that is where I think AI cannot replace us. AI is there to work with us, help us, guide us, but it cannot replace us. And it's not new, right? We have been using Alexas or Siris for such a long time. That is
right,
nothing but AI, right? We're asking questions earlier. So in place of encyclopedias, we are just writing on Google ABC. Earlier, we used to scroll and scroll on the Google feed to find the right answer. Now we're getting the correct answer on the top. That's
right.
nothing but AI, right? So it is helping us. But that connection, that human connection, obviously, that will come only when you talk to humans. So it cannot replace us. That is what I.
That completely makes sense. And since you've talked about mental health and how when things don't work out or when you feel burnt out from work, you feel depressed. So, what is your take on taking a break and what is your take on having a positive mental health?
So, see, first thing is that obviously, in every sector of life, wherever you're working, some or the other time, you will feel burnout. That
Right,
I want to have a break. So, if you're not feeling good about what you're doing, or if you're in general stressed out about any other thing in your life, at that particular point of time, you just take few hours with yourself and over the weekend connect with yourself. The best thing is go out in the nature, in a park, or if not beaches, living in Delhi, just go out somewhere where there's a swimming pool, just try to float in the water or just try to walk in the garden and try to deep breathe. That is what connects you more and relax yourself. Go out somewhere. Just don't sit and lie down on your bed thinking that, I'm not feeling good, I'm feeling burnout. What should I do next? I don't know. At that point of time, first of all, you have to deep breathe and say to yourself that everything is going to be okay. I am okay. And we have to not see ourselves from others' lenses. We have to see ourselves from our lenses. I would say our biggest competitor should be ourselves, not anyone else. So if we stop competing with the world, but with ourselves, and we accept us as we are, if I accept me as I am today, and if I just try to grow myself better every day, like I said, in my first podcast, I know how nervous I was, and it was showing
right,
on the screen as well. So I just competed with myself. People told me that watch other podcast and try to learn, imbibe things from them. That is good, but unless I compete only with myself, I have to be better than yesterday. Or even if today I'm not better than yesterday, it's okay. I accept myself as I am, and I am my only competitor. So let the world say, लोग दुनिया तो कहती रहेगी, right? कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे. लोगों का काम है कहना.
absolutely true. And you have to believe in yourself to get out of that bubble. And it's very important to have faith in yourself. And I think somewhere there's God's plan also. So trust in yourself and everything will work out.
Exactly. Trust and just take a leap of faith, Just
Right.
trust in that there is a power there and just take a leap of faith. Just jump in the water and you'll definitely float. You'll definitely swim. That is what
Beautiful
I
line.
believe. Yeah,
So, talking about support systems, what role has your partner played in making all of this possible?
definitely. He's my biggest support system. So, unless you have a support system, doing something, handling a job, handling kids, and doing a podcast is not possible. So a good support person is definitely important, who supports you in everything you do, who is there for you. You have to be that, even if there is no physical help, but that mental help is always there. That
Right.
someone is there who will always support me in whatever I do. So that ways, I would say that my partner is my biggest support system. He has always pushed me that you have capabilities. You're not using your caliber, right, Swati? You have so much in you, but you are wasting it. So he has always been my biggest supporter in everything I do. And he says that, I have your back. And that is the most important statement. Of course, I have my parents with me who are there to support me, but my partner has been my biggest strength.
That is absolutely right. And sometimes we need a little push, in life to do things. And I think partners are the best push we can get.
Of course. So, while, any podcast, when I'm not doing it, or he's like, why are you not doing it? Just push it. And I say, I'm not feeling in that same zone. He said, so what? Just push yourself. You have to do it. Yeah. Same at work, right? Sometimes I say, I don't want to do XYZ thing. He said, but you have to do it, right? You have to earn money at the end of the day. So you have
Right.
to continue doing it.
That is good to hear. And I've seen your partner and you, and I feel that bond, that connection, and how beautifully you both understand each other. I think that is something I would look into my partner in future as well.
Yeah, definitely. That emotional bond should be there. The other person should respect you, should respect your beliefs, because you might not be same, you might be completely opposites of each other, but that's how you will complement each other, right? That is how only the blocks will fit, the puzzle will fit. The opposites attract each other, right? But emotional understanding, understanding your thought process, and that it should not always be similar to the other person. It can be different, is absolutely important.
True. I agree on it.
Yeah.
Do you think pursuing hobbies is underrated, especially for working women? And do you think it matters that someone should have a passion and they should pursue it? So, I'll put it into two questions. So, is pursuing hobbies an underrated thing? And second question would be that is it important to work in a field which you are passionate about?
So pursuing hobbies is not an underrated thing now, I would say. See, when we passed out of colleges, that time was completely different. We were only told that either become a teacher, a doctor, an engineer, and you'll
Right,
get a job. Otherwise, every other field is nothing. You will get,
right,
you will not earn good money at the end of the day, and earning good money is the only important thing at the end of the day. That is what when I passed out of college, and that is how I got into engineering, because after 4 years of degree, I'll get a job. And that is the most important success criteria that was set for me, right? But I think the people who are graduating these days, they're much more knowledgeable. The children have much more access to different options available to them. And that is how we see the startup boom in India, right?
right,
Every other person who is graduating right now wants to start their own startup. They have so many beautiful ideas in their mind and they want to navigate, sail through it, right? So pursuing hobby is important, because even if your second question, right, even if you don't pursue it as a career, see, obviously a career is important. Like I said, at the end of the day, money is important. Without money, you will not be able to survive. So even if you are not living a luxurious life, you have to have money, right, to have handle your basic necessities. And if you
correct,
want, of course, if somebody aims for luxury, then they have to earn more money. That is
correct,
harsh reality of life. So you have to have a career that gives you money. It can be your passion. If your passion gives you money, there's nothing more satisfactory than that. That, I'm pursuing my passion, I love what I do. But then the other part of it is that the grass is always greener on the other side. The people who are doing their own startups or establishing businesses, they are pursuing their hobbies right now, but they're not having a fixed income at the end of the day, right? So what I feel is that if you are very, very determined, if you know that I have a very good idea that I can work on, definitely go and pursue your hobby, but pursue it for some time. I think set short-term goals for you. For the next 6 months or 1 year, I would be pursuing this particular activity. And if this gives me what I want, both in terms of satisfaction and monetary benefits, continue. If you see after 6 months of 1 year that it is failing, then no, I have to do something else. So I've seen people who have experimented with multiple careers, with multiple businesses, in fact. And finally, they found out what they want. So for me, I want to pursue my passion, so that I'm doing side by side. And for example, one day if I see that, my passion is fulfilling everything, it is giving me monetary as well as mental satisfaction, then why not?
Right.
And in this whole 1 year podcasting journey, I've talked to multiple entrepreneurs who left their jobs, who started their own enterprises. And they were all like that, we did not quit our jobs all of a sudden. That I don't like my boss, I'll quit my job. Or I don't like my company, I'll quit my job. No, that is not how it works. You have to have clear ideas in your mind, and you have to have a good financial corpus with you for the next 1 or 2 years. Only then you can think of leaving your job. Somebody told me that keep your passion and profession aside. That was another person's perspective. Because when you are getting stuck in your career, when you're feeling lost, obviously you can enjoy with your passion. That will bring out the beauty inside from you and you'll feel relaxed, right? So there are both these perspectives, whatever suits you.
Right. Even I agree with that. That if I like something, so I wouldn't like to pursue that thing because I'll keep it as a passion. And sometimes you don't want to make your career out of your passion because then what would be that thing you'll do when you are stuck in your passion career?
Exactly.
Right.
And then if you make your passion as a career, sometimes it will also become a burden for you.
Right.
And I do not want my passion to become a burden on me.
Okay, so if given a chance to you to do anything for joy, but no kids, no meetings, and no deadlines, so what would you do?
I would just go out, go to a park, have a long walk, go to a place where it has river. I love water. I just feel that water is so relaxing. Nature is so relaxing. So go on to a beach, just sit on that a beach where there is patch of greenery as well, where there is sun as well, there's water as well. Just sit in there, relax, dance your heart out. That's it. Relax.
Lovely. And I hope you plan a trip to a waterside place soon. I would love to join.
Definitely.
So let's have a quick rapid fire round now. Okay. So introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
One guilty pleasure when kids are asleep.
Chocolates.
Nice. Your spirit animal at work.
Lion. I am a leader, right? I'm brave.
Oh, that makes sense. And what's the most mom thing you have said in the meetings?
कोई बात नहीं ठीक हो जाएगा ना बच्चे. I so I've used this word बच्चे literally.
Oh, I think that whoever you call Bache, I think he would have felt nice only.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, my team members, right? I've called them बच्चा. कोई बात
How
नहीं
cute.
बच्चा.
What does Renaissance mean to you personally?
Reinventing myself whenever I'm not good, feeling good about myself, reinventing myself once again.
You know, the title of the podcast, Renaissance with Swati, is actually very powerful. I actually Googled the meaning that how you're keeping it in terms of in oneself, how is it connecting? Because when we talk about Renaissance, it's mostly about the history. But how beautiful you have put it as a title, it actually resonated a lot.
It also has a story behind it, you know.
Okay.
So when I was feeling lost a few years back, and I started writing again, I told you, right? I started writing again. And that point of time, I did not think of podcasting or anything, but I just wanted to do something for myself that satisfies my soul. And that is when I started this thing called Renaissance with my own soul. So I am reinventing myself, rebuilding myself. So like a phoenix goes into the ashes and then it rises again. That is how I have to rise again. So it was renaissance with my own soul. So when last year I was thinking about starting a podcast, that is the only title that came to my mind. Nothing else came to my mind. That, I have to start this reinvention because if somebody or the other, everyone needs to reinvent themselves. And listening to other stories is definitely what motivates us, and we can reinvent ourselves by listening to different perspectives from around the world.
Right. The perspective that you have put behind the name is actually very beautiful.
Thank you. My pleasure.
In my team, I never tolerate dash, but I always celebrate dash.
I never tolerate disrespect. And I always celebrate team skills, that bond between the teams.
Lovely.
But disrespect is a big no.
I agree. The team should act as an equal and as colleagues, and disrespect should be intolerable. So, Swati, as you said, you love to write, and we know that you have been active on LinkedIn as well, posting your work. So, would you like to narrate one of your works?
Definitely. I will narrate the same poem that I talked about taking a break, right? So, when life hits you hard, when you think there is nothing left in your deck of cards, take a break. When you get knocked down in your face and you just can't figure out how to ace, take a break. Gulp in the fresh air, soak in the bright sunshine, for nothing was and nothing will ever be permanent. So just still and take a break. Unwind yourself, unleash the child in you, laugh like a boss, dance like a star, and forget about everything else. Lose yourself and take a break. And when you do this, you rise from the ashes, ready to fight another struggle, ready to take another leap of faith, because now doubts are a thing of the past, and you are ready to give the troubles a big, firm handshake, because that's, my friend, the beauty of a break. So just chill and take a break.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know the essence you have put in the poem, lovely, and it's very relatable, and you are able to get grasp the meaning of the poem. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Soumya. And it was lovely interacting with you, being you as the host. I think you have all those qualities of being a host. And like you said, you're an introvert, but I definitely feel you're an extrovert. You have such good communication skills. You have such good way of establishing connection with people. And I think one day you can also start your own podcast.
Thank you so much. I think there's still work to do in my communication skills, but opportunities like these, I think those are the ones which polish our skills.
Definitely. Every opportunity makes you better. That is what I feel.
Right. So thank you, Swati. And today it wasn't just about celebrating a podcast. And just to reiterate, today would be the 1 year of the podcast. Today would mark the 1 year completion of our channel, Renaissance with Swati. And today it was about celebrating you, the voice, the vision, and the volumes you have created in this 1 year. So thank you for letting us in behind the scenes and for reminding us that even storytellers have stories worth telling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Soumya. That was such a beautifully laid out last few lines. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you host me and being on the other side of the table. It was definitely my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.